Joy's shocked. Show cuts off after Mueller's witness drops bombshell clearing Trump. That's been happening a lot lately, right? By Rebecca DeCirio, Entertainment Politics for MadWorldNews.com. George Papadopoulos is the campaign worker who became special counsel Robert Mueller's big witness in the case to prove President Donald Trump colluded with the Russians. Papadopoulos appeared on The View, and Joy Behar was jumping with excitement, thinking he would shed light on how Mueller will get Trump impeached. Then it all went wrong as Papadopoulos cleared Trump with bombshell evidence, and a shocked Behar lost it as the show was cut off. You'll love this. The View is having a tough start to their new season. Yesterday it was Omarosa playing her secret Trump tape, which proved Hillary Clinton was guilty of paying for the bogus Trump-Russia dossier and setting up a go-between using the law firm Perkins Coie to pay for it, thinking it would never be traced back to her. The segment caused Whoopi to freak out. Mad World News previously reported, what did Whoopi do immediately after the secret Trump tape was done playing? She panicked, cutting the show and went to commercial. Then they never mentioned this tape again during the entire show. You wonder why, right? Well, that was Monday. The next day, Robert Mueller's so-called key witness against Trump, George Papadopoulos, shows up as The View's main guest. The shrews of The View were no doubt sure this key witness would spill the beans about how the special counsel was close to proving the president is guilty and needs to be impeached. Except, once again, no one over at ABC did their homework. And it was almost like deja vu with Omarosa. But before we get to Behar's histrionics, you have to understand who Papadopoulos was to the Trump campaign. In reality, George Papadopoulos was a minor player living in London. He was only 28 years old and had been soliciting the Trump campaign for a position. He was an unofficial volunteer, quote, for an advisor to the campaign in the spring of 2016. He was targeted by the cabal and the DOJ and FBI as somebody they could set up, hoping he would take the bait they fed him through a now outed British CIA asset named Alexander Downer. Downer ran into, quote, George at a bar in London and told him, I have a ton of Hillary's emails. Don't you think the Trump campaign would love to get a hold of them? So here's the kicker and why Joy was so shocked and was rendered utterly speechless. On The View, Joy asked George, you never told anyone at the Trump campaign about the emails? Is that what you were saying? Papadopoulos answered, yeah, I have no recollection of doing it. Let's take a listen because it's an 8-minute clip.
You told the Australian diplomat or not.
No.
But that you wouldn't even try and find a way to contact the campaign to let them know that someone had Clinton's emails. You can understand why people
And is that what you're
have a hard time
saying?
believing
You
never told
didn't
anyone?
tell the Trump campaign
I'm saying I have no recollection of doing it, but let me.
No recollection of not doing it and not doing it are two different things.
Wow.
But this is not a part of that.
Yeah, but hold on. Okay. All right, okay. But look, let's not forget I was living in London at the time, right? I wasn't in some sort of headquarters, so.
That doesn't affect your memory.
No, but here's what it does affect, though. Hold on.
Because we're right now.
Yeah, no, what it affects, though, is like how I was transmitting information to the campaign, and it was 99% over email at that time. So if it would have been sent, it would have been done over email, and obviously that email has never been discovered because I don't remember sending it.
Well,
Okay.
your wife's coming out. She's
Okay.
going to join us when we come back. We'll be right back.
That was it? Let's see. That was it. No, they didn't. Let's go here.
We're a foreign policy advisor to the Trump campaign, and while you were abroad, you met a Maltese professor, Joseph Missoud, who said he could help set up a meeting between Putin and Trump. So when you got back to D.C., who did you tell?
About setting up a meeting between.
Yeah.
I mean, I told Trump himself,
Right.
you know, and I told Jeff Sessions, I told the whole campaign,
Right.
what Joseph Mifsud had told me, that
Right.
meaning, you know, he has a contact in Russia that could potentially host the summit between Trump and Putin.
Right.
So I just told the campaign at that infamous photo on March 31st, and yeah.
But Sessions, who testified before Congress, he testified in March of 2016 that the Trump campaign meeting that he said that you're referring to, that he pushed back against that proposal. Is that true, or were you lying, or is he lying?
All I can say is, I mean, let's not forget this was a meeting from like 2 years ago. My recollection completely differs from his recollection of that meeting.
You don't remember for sure whether you told him and Trump?
My memory is that my memory is, of course, I told the room, but
Yeah.
my memory is that he was quite enthusiastic about this potential meeting between Trump and Putin.
That's what you remember?
Of course, yeah.
And he's saying, no, I was not enthusiastic about it.
Yeah,
But he's not denying that he knew about it, right?
I guess, I mean, I'm not sure exactly what he's been testifying to, but I'm just giving my version of events.
And the meeting was to take place before the election?
That was the idea. I mean, the logic behind this was for some sort of photo op, because obviously Trump was very vocal about wanting to work with Putin at some level, like at the geopolitical level. So I thought, you know, it'd be a nice photo op. He really didn't have foreign policy experience, but he kept talking the whole time about working with Russia at some level. So I said, you know what, it'd be great for him to look like a statesman, you know, in a photo with Putin.
So you
that was
know
the
we
logic.
had all this history with Russia.
No, I didn't know. I mean, I don't know Trump. I didn't know Trump before, you know, I met him in March.
Well, the same professor,
I just wanted to ask a crazy question. Are you, I mean, what made them send you to find the people to create a meeting? I mean, was this what you were doing in your life? I mean, did you have experience with all of this?
you're pretty young.
Experience in what sense?
Well, in sense of, you know, finding Russian operatives to meet with her president, that's kind of a diplomatic thing, I would think. Is
You're
that
saying
your
it sounds
background?
different than being the coffee boy that they're now describing him to be on the campaign.
Yeah.
That's what they say he was.
Yeah,
but what was exactly your
what was your job?
All right, so why was I like chosen for the campaign, right? That's I have no background at all in the U.S.-Russia relationship whatsoever. Actually, when I was applying to work for the campaign, I didn't express any, you know, real interest in Russia whatsoever. Right. I came from an energy background. You know, all my business was actually done in the Middle East.
Right.
You know, and the one meeting I did set up with Trump was with the Egyptian president, because that's actually where I had real contacts at.
Right.
Obviously, I couldn't set up the meeting between Trump and Putin for two reasons. Right. One, after a while, it seemed that the campaign did not want to actually host this meeting,
right.
which is it's public record now. And two, obviously, I didn't have real connections to Russia.
Right.
So,
you were the one.
You were the one they said.
I mean, I don't
Did
know.
they set you up?
No, wait, hold on. So let's go back a second. So I'm still living in London at the time, right? When I meet this professor, whoever this guy is, you know, I had just had my interview to join the campaign, and then I'm sent from my old job to go to Rome on a business trip, which I never understood why they wanted to take me on a business trip, considering I told them I'm leaving to go back to the U.S. To join the campaign full time. So I go to this school called Link Campus in Rome. I don't know exactly what it is. It's some sort of spy school, right? Where I meet this.
A spy school?
That's what it's called. I don't know. It's like an Italian intelligence training camp or something.
What happens there?
So I meet this guy, Joseph Mifsud.
Right.
I have never heard of him before in my life. I have no idea why my old company introduced me to him. And then all of a sudden he starts saying, "Oh, you work for the campaign? I could organize meetings between the campaign and Russia." Mm-hmm. You know, so it was like suspicious. I don't know if it was like pre-planned or whatnot, but it was very interesting.
We don't know where the professor is now.
People are saying he's dead, but you know, his lawyer actually came out recently and said, you know, he's not dead, and there's some bombshell.
He didn't present the man.
Yeah.
He said, no, he's not dead, but you didn't see it.
We haven't seen it.
But it's
I don't know.
What's interesting about that story is that you suddenly was sent to Rome. That's what's interesting. So who did that?
Well, no, my old company that not the campaign.
I get it.
But let's talk about this professor. He was supposed to help you set up the Trump-Putin summit meeting.
Yeah.
He also told you that Russian officials had dirt on Hillary Clinton in the form of thousands of emails.
Yeah.
What did you think when you first heard that?
All right, so let's get back to how, like, the context of that meeting, right? So I'm still living in London at the time. I'm still transitioning my life out of London, hopefully going back to the U.S. And all of a sudden, I'm still trying to coordinate this meeting between Trump and Putin at the time, right? And he invites me to the Andes Hotel by Liverpool Street Station.
The Professor.
The Professor. It's a beautiful 5-star hotel in London. He's like, let's get breakfast. I had no idea really what he wanted to talk about, except that he was returning apparently from Russia. And I'm like, okay, let's meet. And then all of a sudden, he drops this bomb on me. And he's like, you know what, I just got back from Russia and I have all this information that the Russians have thousands of Hillary Clinton's emails. Now, I mean, I have to make it clear, I never heard the word Podesta, DNC, or where these emails are. I never saw these emails. I never obviously handled emails. Right. So, I mean, I guess the next question is, what was my response? My response was, yeah, I was trying to leverage this guy to set up a meeting between Trump and Putin, but I was actually very disappointed in actually who he was providing me, to meet.
Why didn't you just go directly to the FBI with that information?
That's the biggest regret I actually have. Out of this whole situation was that instead of allegedly gossiping about it with the Australian downer, which I have no recollection of doing, and I do remember speaking about it with the Greek foreign minister, instead of gossiping and doing what I was doing, I should have just gone directly to the FBI or even the CIA or the U.S. Embassy.
Did you go directly to the Trump campaign and tell them about the Hillary dirty emails?
Okay, so here's where I've been asked this a million times, but here's the reality. The same day I was told about the dirt from, I had a scheduled call with Stephen Miller, who's currently in the White House. Now, that call never went through. So who knows? If that call went through, I may have told him, but it never went through.
But
so we're
never told anyone.
You can understand why people have a hard time believing
of course,
this,
absolutely.
other than the strange series of events that happened. But this was a golden opportunity for you to lay out on a platter for the campaign of the work you're doing, to say, I have got this huge thing here, these Clinton emails. The fact that you would tell someone in the Greek ministry about it, right? You can't remember whether you told the Australian diplomat or not.
No.
But that you wouldn't even try and find a way to contact the campaign to let them know that someone had Clinton's emails. You can understand why people.
And is that what you're
have a hard
saying?
time believing
You never told anyone?
Tell the Trump campaign
I'm saying I have no recollection of doing it, but let me.
No recollection of not doing it and not doing it are two different things.
Well, but this is not a court of law.
Yeah, but All right, okay, but look, let's not forget I was living in London at the time, right? I wasn't in some sort of headquarters, so.
That doesn't affect your memory.
No, but here's what it does affect, though. What it affects, though, is like how I was transmitting information to the campaign, and it was 99% over email at that time. So if it would have been sent, it would have been done over email, and obviously that email has never been discovered because I don't remember sending it.
Well,
okay.
Your wife's coming out. She's going to join us when we come back. We'll be right back.
Well, when it comes to when they come back from commercial, Papadopoulos' wife joins them. You'd think the shrews would be excited, continue their inquiry in the damning Hillary emails, right? Wrong. They know they have struck once again. Instead, they talk about Fluff, his wife, and never revisit the hardcore questioning to get the Trump dirt. When these idiots figure out evidence against Trump doesn't exist, not one of them asks the right questions like, who is this guy Downer working for? Who fed you this information about Hillary's emails? Well, all over, even in the mainstream media, Downer has been identified as a CIA asset. It's the Obama administration setting up Trump. But the shrews on The View are now 0-2. Omarosa's tape proved Hillary's guilty, and Papadopoulos proved Trump's campaign was being infiltrated by foreign spies working for the CIA. When the entire truth comes out, they better have rubber rooms ready for those leftist nitwits hosting The View. Nitwits, yeah, that's a good one. You can't make this stuff up. Look, it was a setup from the get-go, but as you can see, they try to point to Trump all the time. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And again, thank you so much for watching.